Welcome to the Peak Performance and Peak Satisfaction podcast with Master Executive Coach Sherry Gregoff. Sherry helps business people perform better, get rewarded handsomely, and actually enjoy their work. After having her own career turnaround, she now helps other high-powered business professionals experience the same. Join the movement to work differently.
Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. How do we make decisions when we feel uncertain? There is much pressure about making the right choice and avoiding regret later. So much so that we can be frozen in indecision most of the time. In this episode, I share a simple framework for making decisions quickly and loving your reasons for doing so. Before we jump in, I want to shout out one of my clients who had a win in this area. Here is the quote from him. Sherry, thank you for helping me take a different perspective on the leader that was making life difficult for our team. I was of a mind to leave this company and the work that I love, and if I did, I would have walked away from the rewards and recognition that were coming my way. This client was starting to disagree with the direction of the company. Bureaucracy and form were starting to rule the day. It felt like an uphill battle to do the job that he was hired to do. When we started working together, frustration was high, and he sought guidance on whether it was time to leave his job and part ways. One leader in particular gave him pause. He wasn't sure how he could enjoy his work and be effective, given this leader's management style and message. I helped him quiet the gut reactions and heavy emotion that can accompany the jobs that we do, and those where we take high emotional ownership. When something threatens our success and our satisfaction on a day-to-day basis, we can get defensive and seek the eject button from the situation. Running to a different opportunity can feel like the obvious choice. I helped this client come to a decision that he felt good about and found a way to proceed with a new level of peace and resolve. In hindsight, he knows he made the right decision for him, and staying the course has proved lucrative and fulfilling, thrilling even, being part of a high-growth organization who truly values his contributions. Similar victories are shared by all of my clients, and I have experienced it too in my own career turnaround. So let's hop to today's podcast content and get you on your way to experiencing this also. I have coached clients through changing careers, leaving jobs, accepting offers, moving their homes and families, ending relationships, and starting relationships. Of all the serious professional and life decisions that you might imagine, we have worked through most of them. Here's the thing. As their coach, I don't tell them which decision to make. I show them how to come to a decision that they love, and then how to embrace it. Because the truth is, in most cases, there is no right decision, only the decision that you make right. Think of your choice in a partner. Oftentimes, it is not the case that all parties would look at that union and think, well, that was the perfect pairing, or the right decision. But when we choose a partner for life, we are deciding to make that person the right one for us. Barring extreme circumstances, we are committing to working it out, to making that decision right for both of us, day in and day out. It would be less uncertain if we could get a satisfaction guarantee up front. Upon choosing this partner, you will experience only joy and love, else you will be made whole. We could wait a lifetime for a guarantee like that, but spoiler alert, there will never be one. Many of our decisions are similar in that we have imperfect information about all the consequences and downstream impacts to come. We don't have a guarantee. The mere level of uncertainty can send us into a freeze. Analysis paralysis, trying to amass and then evaluate all options to fully optimize for what we want. We can never eliminate uncertainty or risk. It's kind of like an investment portfolio. With every investment comes some level of risk and reward. Even keeping our assets in cash bears some risk, as we lose value with rising inflation, and we have the opportunity cost of not investing it to earn a return. So there are never guarantees on what the future holds. Past performance is not an indicator of future results. Even if we analyze all the data available, we are still taking a bet and calculating the probability of the benefit outweighing the potential risks. We do this all day long. At work, we are deciding what to spend our time on. The best use of our time and energy is a limited resource. We decide what to eat for lunch, even deciding that it tasting good at the moment is more beneficial than the potential risks to our health in the future. Maybe you loathe making decisions, including where to eat or where to travel on your upcoming vacation. Of all the things we learn in school, we don't spend much time learning effective ways of making decisions. Add to that the pressure to carry out the perfect career path and life story to later be conveyed in a glossy way on social media for likes. It's no wonder that we aren't great at making decisions. It's not our favorite. Whether it's choosing a paint color for a wall or choosing our next role, we can be filled with self-doubt. Here is the routine we tend to follow when facing a decision. We tell ourselves that we're confused. We don't have all the information. We can't guarantee success. We can't get it wrong. If it doesn't work out, it's going to be a painful problem. We feel uncertain and unclear. So then we hesitate, we doubt, we second guess, we overanalyze, we overthink. We don't decide, which in effect is choosing the status quo, continuing to do whatever we were doing as a default mode. We subconsciously decide that no change is the best option because it seems like a sure bet. We exhaust ourselves with the sheer number of open decisions that we are juggling at any one time. The result is that we get the same results we had before, or worse, as we repeat doing what we know. We don't account for the opportunity cost, the different results that we gave up when we decided not to do anything differently. This may feel comfortable in the near term, but longer term we may be frustrated with ourselves for playing it safe rather than making a different decision. We dislike these results, which have us contemplating other options in the first place. Everything in our work and life that we are experiencing right here, right now, is the result of past decisions that we have made. Our career, wealth, health, relationships, workplace, home. All of these at some point in time before today, we decided were possible for us. We decided that where we are right now was doable. We also decided that we would tolerate where we are right now, which is why it continues. Whether these decisions were intentional, or whether you weren't fully aware of them, or didn't fully complete making the decision, this is where you landed. Sometimes I call this the disappointment cycle. I'm disappointed that my results are continuing as is. I am disappointed that I didn't choose differently. I regret not having done something different for better results. And yet, we don't make a new decision. So instead, let's reverse engineer what we want now. What results do you actually want, even when the environment changes or resistance shows up, or your emotions tell you otherwise? A decision is a commitment of our conviction, even when it's not easy. So why is this result important to you? Ask yourself why until you get to a reason that is worth your blood, sweat, and tears. Something compelling enough to do the hard thing in order to achieve it. Before we launch into deciding which action we believe will create that result that we seek, I want you to know that there will always be two forces at work here: fear versus vision, comfort versus growth, certainty versus doubt. Recognize this in your thought process to help you spot what it is that you really want. You are going to have to choose which of these forces will win the day. Now, since we are reverse engineering the outcome that we want, Let's look at what emotional state will help us to do this well. We want to feel clear, forward-looking, with a growth mindset, compelled and driven. What beliefs do we need to practice to create this ideal emotional state for decision making? I never lose. I always win or learn. This is going to work out or give me valuable information to make it work out sooner rather than later. Clarity comes from action. Sloppy success beats perfect failure. Any decision is better than no decision. I am the closest to this situation and am best placed to decide this for myself. I am ready for this decision to be done so I can start enjoying the benefits of it. These thoughts may feel very different from the soundtrack that you have on repeat to yourself usually, but try them on for size. They have the benefit of all being true. Beliefs are just thoughts that we repeat to ourselves over and over again. Sometimes we repeat things to ourselves that we heard others say, and it may just become a mindless habit. But our subconscious is always listening and taking note. And this hesitation about making decisions runs that deep into our subconscious. So feed it these new beliefs instead. When you are in the heat of the moment facing a decision, you will remember the truth, and that will enable you to take actions that really serve your best interest. Okay, great. Let's turn to the actions now. It's strategy time. Time for a framework. Rather than having you take notes frantically, go ahead and click on the first link in the show notes now for my decision-making protocol that you can download and follow along with and mark up as we go. You can also then use it forevermore when facing a tough decision. Remember, this framework is battle-tested. I have used this myself, making some pretty life-changing decisions. Starting a business, retiring from corporate, moving homes. I have coached clients through leaving jobs, changing careers, accepting new roles, moving their home and family, ending relationships, starting new relationships. This works. Let's go. Part A, we're going to get all the options on the table. Our brain often jumps around when we're facing a pending decision, and it usually resists just taking a straight inventory of our options. It also tends to leave out options. So here, we are going to get methodical about getting them on the table with initial pros and cons, and the probability of those pros and cons actually happening. So what are your viable options? Which have you not even thought of until now when you send your brain searching for it? Is there a false option that we're holding on to? For example, getting the benefits of one option without any of the costs of actually choosing that option. What are the pros and cons of each option, 1 year out and 5 years out? What are the probabilities of those pros and cons actually playing out? Okay, on to part B. Here we're going to prioritize what is most important to you. When the options seem overwhelming, it's because we are assuming they are all like options with similar feasibility. But really, we have strong criteria. In this section, we don't let our brain indulge in confusion on this point. We are the only ones to answer what is most important to us, and we are doing it here. What's most important when you consider potential outcomes? What is your criteria? Put your criteria in stack rank order of importance. On to part C, accounting for the worst. Our brain does an interesting thing. It lightly imagines an awful worst-case scenario. That worst-case scenario seems so awful that we avoid even thinking about it. The best way to take our power back in this situation is to face it head on, so it stops blocking the decision. Usually we find it's not nearly as bad as we had imagined when lightly considering the concept of it. What is the worst-case scenario that you can imagine? How would you handle it if it did happen? Would you be fine anyway? On to part D, removing constraints. We usually come at decisions from a scarcity mindset. We don't have enough, we have to fix something, we don't want to fully commit, so we don't want to invest time or money in the outcome that we want. We don't want to look silly in front of others or be judged about the decision we made, or even feel shame. Let's go ahead and remove these from the equation just for a moment. If money and time weren't an issue, what would you do? If no one was watching or judging, what would you do? Okay, part E. Once you narrow down to 2 options, do this exercise. We often skip over how our own inner wisdom can guide us when making decisions. We seek out opinions from everyone we know. We crowdsource on social media. We ask Google, we ask AI, but we don't do this. Follow these prompts. If you chose option A, what does option B need to tell you? What do you need to know as future you who took option A? If you chose option B, what does option A need to tell you? What do you need to know as future you who took option B? If you took all of that collective wisdom and forged a new option C, what would it entail? On to part F. As a final step to this, we are going to consult the future you. Imagine you years from now with your vision fully realized, working your best career, living your best life with stellar health and relationships. Imagine you could ring up that future you on the phone, like a lifeline call. What would that person tell you to do in the here and now? Why? What other wisdom would they share? Okay, part G. It's time. Set a deadline to make a decision. In case you needed inspiration, here is what is waiting for you on the other side. You will be proud of yourself for making a decision. You will feel strong that you made it. You will feel relief that it is closed. You eliminated every other possibility and decided for yourself. This open window can now be closed out in the PC that is your brain. No energy being expended on it anymore. No need to worry about it being right. Now you get to work making it right. Part H. To seal the deal, take action associated with this decision now. Send the communication, book the meeting, sign the document. Do this when your certainty is high and the decision is fresh. Set yourself up to follow through right in this moment. The decision is closed, and this is the action time that brings you closer to the result that you want. Use your big reason why to move forward in action now. Part I. Resolve to achieve the desired outcome. You just made one decision and followed through to create it. There is no uncertainty anymore. Your energy is renewed. You created momentum. You built confidence in yourself. You trusted yourself and you took a step forward. This is incredibly empowering and habit forming. For further inspiration, I'm going to share stories of clients who made bold decisions for reasons they loved and were thrilled with the outcomes. I hope these inspire you, and maybe you see a parallel example that relates to your current situation, and that this gives you hope in hearing about someone who went first. So first, around securing and excelling in expanded roles. I helped a leader in telecom make the difficult decision to take a package, to leave a company where she had plateaued to start her own business instead. I helped her decide to launch that business, and then later decide to accept a role that she was recruited for at the executive level, with the autonomy and rewards package that motivated her to take on the expanded challenge. All of this happened within a few months. Significant decisions that happened one after another. At the same time, she was coping with an elderly parent's health issues and caregiving at every step. This is powerful decision-making with stunning results. Throughout this process, she felt confident and empowered by each decision she made, and most certainly made each one right. I coached a partner at a Big Four accounting firm to make the decision to accept the inherent risk present in his role without fear of a career-ending misstep that allowed him to keep doing the work he loved rather than sunsetting his career. He decided to delegate more to his team so that he could set a more strategic agenda and share his best practices across the region. The result of doing so was that he ultimately was asked to take a role multiple levels higher, allowing him to broaden his reach and scale his impact, which he never thought would be a possibility and felt inspired to do. Next, around mastering executive leadership, I helped a CEO of a conglomerate decide to fully own and embrace his role, overseeing a suite of businesses, each in different life cycles. This full commitment to the work paved the way for additional decisions. He firmly addressed performance issues and exited talent no longer suitable for the role. He decided which businesses made sense for the portfolio moving forward and which did not. These decisions were not taken lightly, and having a trusted confidant and outside perspective to guide him through a thoughtful process helped him arrive at decisions confidently and to implement them swiftly. I coached a CFO at a company experiencing hyper-growth that outpaced their organization available to support it. He decided the best use of his skills as they secured funding from investors was to build out the leadership team for the company that they were growing into. This allowed them to take on new contracts and support the growing demand. In high-stakes, high-stress environments like these, decisions to hire must be thoughtful. About stepping in as successor for your leader. I coached a technology sales leader to make the decision to pursue her boss's role when it freed up, and to make her case as his planned successor, even as external candidates were being interviewed. It would have been easier to read these as signals to back off, but she decided this was her chance. She ultimately secured the promotion and her manager's role, expanding her remit and team. She then decided to actively manage underperformers and truly lead the business the best way she knew how, rather than following status quo with her predecessor. I helped a marketing leader navigate a challenging reporting line and ultimately decide to continue in role, fostering relationships with the rest of the executive team. Ultimately, he was asked to take on his manager's responsibilities in his place, and he said yes, joined the executive team, and continued to turn over his own team for a strong bench that gave him capacity to step up. I coached a technology leader who was doing her manager's role on an interim basis and was discouraged from interviewing for the role permanently. She decided to put her hat in the ring and carry herself with strength and confidence. She ultimately secured the role and promotion and felt that she broke barriers for her ethnicity and gender in this space for generations to come. About scaling your business with strategy. I helped a solopreneur decide to double down on growing her business and accepting opportunities for collaboration to significantly increase her workload. This commitment to increasing her capacity was important to her as the sole breadwinner, supporting her family and finding a way to do so by doing work that she loves. I guided her decision-making process to move states, ultimately securing better access to healthcare and education for her and her family, plus a better quality of life. With these decisions, she made many of her dreams come true, both professionally and personally. I coached a professional through a career change where she decided to leave her long-standing occupation to start her own business. This included decisions on timing and framing with her employer. Ultimately, she earned more self-employed than in the thankless industry with long hours and unsatisfactory working conditions that she left. I share these anecdotes with you to show you what is possible. In any of these cases, the actual decision being right or wrong was less relevant than who that leader became in the process and how they cultivated success no matter what. Typically, there is no single right decision. There are just the decisions that we make right. I invite you to consider whatever decision you may have put off making, which of course is still a decision. It's just deciding to choose the status quo. I encourage you to go ahead and make that decision today. Use this framework at the first link in the show notes as yet another tool inside my free leadership playbook, and then get to work making that decision right for you. Loving the new job and feeling gratitude for the ways it's all worked out. Embracing your decision to stay and capitalizing on all the goodwill and value that you created right where you are already. Proud of yourself for making a change and pursuing that second act. Postponing the decision isn't postponing the risk. The biggest risk is never allowing the benefits available to you to actually come your way. Staying on the fence, it isn't comfortable. We aren't meant to stay there. Assess, decide, and commit. You can do this. Your situation right at this moment is the cumulative total of the decisions you have made to date. Think of how much better your next reality might be once you make this decision. Take comfort in today's data points of what awaits you on the other side of decisiveness. I've said it before, and I will say it again. You always win or learn. So get going. I promise, it feels so much better than indecision and overthinking, and it's yours for the taking. Until next time.
Looking for support in applying the principles and strategies in today's episode? Sherry coaches clients one-on-one as their trusted confidant and advisor, helping each client create the work and life they had only dreamed of. To schedule your complimentary career strategy session, go to sherrygregoff.com/apply to book time with her today. It's one simple step that can change everything.